This episode of the Out of Bounds podcast is sponsored by Fisher Skis, and you can visit them at www.fishersports.com. Hello. My name is Adam Jabber. This is the Out of Bounds podcast. I haven't done an intro in a while, I feel like, but I guess it was only like a week or two. But anyway, we have a great episode today in studio. Josh Malczyk, the dude actually reran an old episode of his recently. He's on the New England Let's Do Podcasts and Talk About Season tour. But mainly we talk about things like just general industry talk. We talk about men and therapy and like how it's actually an important thing that you probably should do. Kind of do some storytelling, general shit talk. It's a great episode. I hope you enjoy it. I enjoyed it. I really appreciate Josh taking the time. I really just enjoy talking to Josh generally, like even off air. He's like one of the people that I learn a lot from every single time. I actually just like, if you didn't get this already, I like talking to the guy. So really nice to have him in studio. If you're watching on the YouTube, you're welcome for the great fireplace background that's going on there. Obviously, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're trying to push that more and more. We had a couple weeks off with no new episode on the YouTube, but we are back on the YouTube game for the next few weeks at minimum, and hopefully for the rest of the year. Like I'm going to try to go 52 weeks in a row, Ethan. Just count me on this. 52 weeks in a row having a YouTube episode this year. That's my New Year's resolution. Is this the first episode of 2023? It is?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Okay, cool. That's my New Year's resolution, okay? People make all these weird ones. Like they're like, oh, I'm going to become president of the United States, or I'm going to become, I don't know, good at skiing, but none of us are going to do those things. So I am going to record a YouTube episode or an audio episode every single day for every single week for 52 weeks in a row. Imagine every single day. Imagine what that would be like. How many times could I talk about social media and ski boots and all that stuff? Anyway, subscribe to the YouTube. Leave us a review on iTunes if you're an iTunes or Spotify listener. That's all I'm going to ask from you. I think right now, episode of the year voting has happened. I don't know who won yet because it's not over yet, but past, future me. Technically, right now it's future, but it will be past me by the time this comes out. We'll tell you on the internet who won episode of the year for every individual show that comes out or that came out over the past year, including Care Less Do More, Big Stick Energy, Coffee and Van Chats, The Pursuit, and whatever this show's called. All right. Into some of the things that allow me to have a mortgage and a business and all of these things that I'm so lucky to be able to do. First and foremost, Todd, my friend Todd at Alpine Vans makes the best adventure vans in the entire world. They're like, the dude one time told me that he only wanted to make dope vans for people that wanted to do dope shit. I could not agree with a philosophy anymore. Like if you're going to do something, make cool shit. And cool shit only. The dude just makes like, it's such an absurdly nice van that I don't even know how to describe to you. But like, if I can give you a reference, Cody Townsend works with them on designing some of these vans. And Cody Townsend is a cool person. I don't know if you met Cody Townsend, but I've met Cody Townsend and the dude's fucking cool. So he'll tell you how to make a cool van. And Todd will make you, I guess, Cody will tell you or show you on the YouTubes, and then Todd will actually build it for you along with his wonderful team down in PA. So if you're looking for a new van, hit up alpinevans.com and go to, what are we going to? The email? What's his email? Todd at alpinevans.com. Go email Todd, get a new van. If you're considering one seriously, like this is the one to go with. Like I drove that thing for a few months and holy shit, like I'm still in awe of that thing. So, shout out to the Alpine Vans family. Sorry, it's been a long day. Anyway, we're rolling into a Deuter ad. Deuter is the premier backpack manufacturer for people who do fun shit. And in case you're wondering, it is Deuter, not Duder. Okay, Duder is like your super bro or like a weird name to call a poop. Deuter is the bag brand of which you should be buying. I've been using those Aviant Duffel Pro 60s, and holy shit, that's the best travel bag ever. Like, it's so clean, it's water resistant. Like, the thing is like, it's like those Patagonia ones that get made, except they're actually cool and they don't make you look like you're working fucking tech or something. So I'm a huge fan. The number one thing, though, if I could recommend a singular product if you're going to buy something from Deuter, is the new Freerider Pro 34. The thing is awesome. It comes with all the bells and whistles that you need to have a proper touring pack. It is the right size. 34 is like the size I use for everything every day. It is like, other than resort stuff, and even sometimes for resort stuff, it is like the perfect weapon of choice to put all of your weapons in. Okay. Go to Deuter.com. That is DEUTER.com and check out a new pack today, specifically that Freerider Pro. I'm a huge fan, and you'll see me rocking that thing all winter long. And without further ado, we're rolling on into our episode with Josh Malczyk. Josh, tell people first who you are, and then a little bit about yourself and all that good stuff, and then we can roll on.
Well, here I am in the studio. Very exciting. I am with my family and my upbringing here in the East Coast. We are in... West Springfield, Massachusetts.
This has nothing to do with who you are. This has literally nothing to do.
Yeah, it all starts. I've driven through here, probably thousands of times in my growing up. Oh yeah, my name is Josh Malczyk, and I work. I'm a 37-year-old marketing branding professional, and I work for Season Eqpt, which is a new brand based out of the Northwest, founded by Eric Pollard and Austin Smith and a few others. And yeah, this is year 3. And how I got here sitting here in West Springfield, Massachusetts was I grew up in Connecticut, Southington, Connecticut. If for the listeners or viewers on YouTube can see my sweet sweatshirt my lovely mother got me, Ski Mount Southington. Lovely place in central Connecticut. It's where thrills are made locally.
47 feet of elevation.
Did not get paid for that, but I've gotten a lot of free tickets there over the years, so I want to give them a shout out. They have a park set up right now, and their snowmaking capabilities are second to none.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's on Mount Vernon Road, Southington exit. Not sure, off of I-84. But yeah, I grew up there and then went to school up in Vermont at the University of Vermont, public Ivy, no big deal. Not sure what that actually means, but yeah, went to school in Vermont and was a little hotshot skier for Line Skis locally, which was based in Burlington on Flint Avenue, and realized quickly I wasn't going to be a professional skier because no one could pronounce my last name. And
that's a requirement, you think?
That is, well, it was in 2008 or so, and there wasn't really a
Got it.
influencer crowd, or
Got it.
you couldn't just take pictures all the time. But yeah, I was there, and then I emailed Jay Leventhal one day down the street if you need some help, and he said, come on in, and started stuffing stickers and being an intern there. Did a year-long internship, and at that point, 2006, I was purchased by K2 Sports. Everything moved out there except for Jay. I finished college. Somehow convinced him, I think his wife convinced him to hire me at Line Skis, and I moved to Seattle in 2008 to start my funny career in the snow sports industry at Line Skis, which is a brand of K2 Sports, which is now called Elevate Outdoor Collective. And I spent, I'd say 12 years there. Various job titles, similar jobs, a lot of marketing things, and starting MySpace pages, ending MySpace pages, starting YouTube pages, growing that brand and seeing the growth there. And then also Full Tilt Boots, RIP. But Full Tilt Boots was the other brand that was there. And I think the last time we talked, Full Tilt Boots was just being...
It was being killed.
Ixnay.
Slowly.
So that was 2 years. We must have talked last year then, I think.
No, it wasn't killed yet. It was like months before.
Okay.
We had talked and we were like, both of us were like, something's going to change for sure. Mm-hmm. And then like it started happening. And then I heard actually that it was going to die. And then it died. Well, somewhere in there. Yeah. Can I ask you before we move on from the Full Tilt thing?
Yeah.
What do you think about the Flex name? Like, what do we think about the FL3X? Branding? Dude.
I mean, it makes sense when you look at it quickly. You want to be, as a marketing branding person, you want to get as much information with as little information as possible in front of somebody. So it partitions it into a certain category, that's for sure. And, Full Tilt was great. And it's so in the world of that boot and that product that it's changed names once again. Like it was, Reichly and then Neisel and then Full Tilt, and now K2. And it shows the longevity of that product and how it works for specific people. And as a businessman, I understand it. I from what I hear, they're doing quite well. The boots are alive and well. I mean, you got Sammy and Taylor and Tom and Phil and Henrik promoting their boots, and then having the rest. It's a very clean line. I got, my heart it's sad because you grow a brand for that long, and you could do other things, like category expand into like say booties or things of that nature. But
that was weird too, that they didn't. And I mean, it's a rep deal more than anything. It's to keep the sales reps happy, is what I was told. They left, like they gave the Rich Andersons of the world line booties still, so they get booties. The booty sales and the commission on line booties.
And then that category has really expanded. You got a booty there of Fubuki right there. That's awesome to know. That's a great, great like seeing a product that's used by people in a certain part of the world, and then being like, oh my gosh, more people in the world need to like use this. Their story is really cool. And but yeah, it was that was a fun time in my life. 12-ish years, and then I left. I was presented an opportunity to start this new brand with Eric Pollard and friend Andy Hitchon, who's on the product side of things, in January 2020. Hilarious timing.
Good time. Yeah, good time to start a new brand.
Yeah, the world was my oyster, and things were looking up, and I was like, what's going on in Wuhan, China? What's happening? And then we all know what happened in the rest of the world. And we still powered through and had a very, very gracious and patient investors and other business partners. That is the Nidecker Group in Switzerland, and then Evo in the Northwest. And launched three skis and 3 boards, and in October 2020, which was amazing, and was able to develop good products from 2 great factories and deliver them mildly on time, and then sell out of that first year. And then year 2 was, I believe that's one of the last time we talked, was like year 2 was coming up, and we had one new products. We had a split board, and then the Kin came out, which has become one of our most popular skis.
Yeah.
And from there, last year was still that world of like COVID still around. There was still that like giant bump of like just people buying everything, like there was you know more than me of inventory issues that we've had in snow sports world for those times. So it was very unnatural times, and then got through last year, which was great. And then this year is kind of our second full year as a normal brand. And some of the like, I guess for lack of a better term, like tech stacks that we use, all the things that I've been building for the last 2 or 3 years, we're starting to like click, our email marketing, the brand was growing, and all of our, we're becoming, not established yet, but like, it's the one thing you can't buy is time of people being like, hey, I've heard of this brand, and like this and that. People having a few seasons on these skis, and people seeing them on people's feet on the chairlift, and then being like, what is that? So it's been cool to see like where we are now, present day here, day after Christmas 2022. We have a community. There's people that have gravitated towards the brand. We've created a lot more content out there, and the first year was kind of, we have a brand. Started by Eric and Austin. These are our pillars of longevity, a simplified product line, and then in common having skiing and snowboarding on equal plane. And you could say stuff all you want, but then when you start seeing it in actual like action, and people like understanding it, having like a snowboarder dad buy skis for his daughter, or vice versa, and things like that, it's really cool to see people gravitating towards the brand. And it it was a concept that wasn't like, we didn't go through years of like consumer data and seeing like, is this what everyone wants and everything. It was just kind of one of these more gut feeling type things because myself, Austin, Eric, and Andy, we've all worked for larger companies, and the things that kind of felt icky to us, or like that needed to change. And when given the opportunity to have a completely blank slate, you were like, okay, what would we do differently? And it's like, well, it's like, buying skis or snowboards is like the cereal aisle. There's so many different options. They're all quite good. A lot of different things. It's very, very confusing to the consumer. Whereas we wanted to simplify it, make it one thing, skiing and snowboarding as one. You know, everyone's having a good time on the mountain. It doesn't matter. The war's over because of the 90s. And then, what could we do there? So, what we did spend a lot of time on was the pillars of the brand of like what we wanted to put forth. And then those were pillars, but they're also filters of like everything we made, everything we did. So like now pushing more and more stuff through there, not so much product, but more like content and stuff. And then, in the marketing world, you kind of just keep reiterating the exact things you want and try not to confuse anybody. It's cool to see it in action or people like re-sharing what we envisioned at some point. So it went from like concept to like now reality. Granted, we're not like, there's no global domination yet or anything. But, we are, it's so cool to see that there is a customer that is, that's down with it. So it's been very gratifying. That's for sure.
There certainly is. It's funny because initially you have no idea what a company's going to, like a new ski brand comes out and you're like, do we really need a new fucking ski brand? Like, do we need another ski brand? It's like whatever the fuck Candide's doing, I'm like in the same boat. I'm like, I don't know. Do you know how many people, by the way, whenever I posted that were like, season, Malczyk knows, dude, it's, he's got it. It's for sure going to be that Candide goes to season. And I was like, I don't think that makes the most sense. If you're paying attention,
it's not really in the wheelhouse of, breaking news, Candide is not riding for he did have black prototypes, which is nice that we're kind of...
You get the rub on that a little bit?
No, I enjoyed that time of just chaos, and I would never... correct anybody if they thought
you're just double tapping it, to let people think. I mean, what a fucking pile.
Eric and Kenny are good friends. They grew up in the same generation. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
but no, it was just fun to. I'm excited to see what he has coming out.
That paycheck's got to be pretty insane in terms of.
Yeah, and in our world, we didn't come out with a big team of people.
You don't really need to.
It's that's a part of the equipment in common type thing. We do want to. Turn the mirror onto the community at large. So, like, if you're following Season's marketing or all the content we've been coming out this year, it's a lot about, like, normal people. And, like, people who are, like, this person is a carpenter. This person is a, and they all meet at the mountain or they use the mountain as, like, their escape or their church or something like that. So it's a little bit more that way. And with Eric, if he ever comes on the show, hopefully.
Dude, Jesus Christ. Like, it's so absurd.
He will.
He was like the one that was like, yeah, dude, I'd love to, blah, blah, blah. This was, whatever the last time we talked was, he was like super down. And then he followed up. And then it just like, it's been like multiple times. And I sent him an email this summer and I was like, dude, I'm not going to ask you again. I will ask around you until the end of time, but I'm not going to keep at. It's him, it's Seth, and Christine Lutzenberger. And that's the only three people that I can't get a conversation with. It's like, that I really want to. Like, I don't give a fuck about having...
We talk about it all the time, and he's just been so head down in creating content and things like that.
Whatever, dude. Whatever, dude. I know. No time, little people. I understand. It's fine. Yeah.
It's coming there. And when a long-form conversation with Eric is fantastic. So
I'm sure.
It's so much better than me.
I'm sure. I was pissed that he did the blister one. I'm like...
I think I tricked him into that somehow. I'm not really sure.
You're like, just a phone call about product and it ended up being a recording. And I'm like you're like, you're going to do one with that guy and you won't do one with me? Like, that's fucked up. Not that means, but like, I get it. That's when I changed my approach. I was like, let's just talk about product. It's like, let's switch this around. Like, we don't need to talk about you. Let's just talk about product.
He's a great conversationalist, and just getting him on the phone. He now has internet at his house, which is nice.
Wow.
Thank you, Starlink. And so there's content there. You might have like a break in the satellites that go over the house sometimes, but
the Elon internet.
He will be on at some point, just waiting for that, get up to
whatever
4 million followers or what.
Yeah, however many downloads I need to amass in order to be graced by the.
But he's been so head down in making content, and it's easier when you're making content by yourself, when you're
for sure
when you're in your own world and you have something to say that is controlled by your brain, but then, partnering with all the people, we're partnering with people around his community and then telling those stories and shaping those is like super, super taxing for time and things like
I'm
that.
Sure. No, and like, I don't fucking care. I do and I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. I also am just like, I don't know if it's arrogant enough or if it's like, I just want to have the conversation. You know what I mean? I just want to chat.
It'll be a great conversation.
That's it. I'm sure it'll be great. But
We're
it'll happen
in studio here.
Yeah, exactly. That's the move. I'll fly him out. I don't give a fuck, dude. I'll put him on a plane. He can go to Hartford.
If he was a b-ball fan, we can go to the
Hall of Fame. We'll go to fucking what's that?
I haven't been to the new Hall of Fame.
Max's Tavern is like right there. There's like that's the little.
Is there a casino in Springfield now too.
Oh yeah, it's a pile of shit.
Yeah,
it is a complete pile. Like
City of Lights. There's a lot of Christmas lights.
Like gunshots. Like that's the
a tornado that came through here one time too. But
yeah, that was literally where we're sitting.
Oh,
just everything got wiped.
Alley.
Yeah. Oh yeah, just completely got uprooted and fucked. It's just
that's the beauty of the East Coast. You never know what you're gonna get every day. I mean, it's
get whatever.
All I've been seeing on the news is this giant storm that we've been having throughout the country, and like it's been lovely here in Connecticut. Like kind of cold.
It's cold.
A little windy one
night. I
saw
it on the news today. They were like, "Oh, gripping cold, grasp the," and you're like, "It's winter."
Buffalo is.
Yeah. X is sitting there like snow blowing. Like he's like, we got another fucking whatever. Like we're just buried
over there. I don't know if
poor
there's
guy.
Find some vertical. You go skiing, I guess.
Yeah, if you can, you just stand on somebody's house. Yeah, you just get on the roof and just ski down that, and that'll be fine.
Roofs people aren't stuck in, and go from there.
Yeah, it's fun. So, on the ski topic, on the season topic, are we gonna go black top sheets forever? Like, is that gonna get played? Do you think?
Well, it's definitely we've set our mark on black top sheets for sure. But like our aesthetic is a timeless aesthetic. So you're not going to see like crazy new things every year. So there's always an opportunity. You never want to stick to the same playlist your entire life.
Right.
But we're obviously customers shouldn't expect drastic change year over year or even in a few years. So it's not. I wouldn't put my stake down. Like I said, we're only 2.5 years old too. So we're kind of figuring out. One, we've changed the top sheet of the snowboard a few times already. We're still figuring out materials and things like that. And then this year, our black top sheets are real nice. We had a switch in the skis, and it's more of like a Corund textured top sheet that's like much more durable. And then the snowboard is the same way, and actually has less like materials in it. It's actually more black of a top sheet. It's basically the thing that's going on. But I never say never. But we're still trying to understand the basics, understand the capabilities of the factories that we use. Austria is where our skis are made, and then in Dubai at SWO Sports where the boards are made, where like Jones is made. And yes, and everything. It's a very cool place. I actually went there in June. It's really hot.
What do we think of Dubai in general?
Dubai's an interesting place.
It's bizarre, isn't it?
I've been to a lot of manufacturing facilities in my life, and it was just bizarre. And then you go skiing inside of a mall after, which was interesting. But yeah, happy workers, and they do a good job, and they pump out a lot of boards. And the factory itself there's a few other things they make. They make like water tanks and like there's a lot of fiberglass things going on. But the owner of the factory, his father, I believe, actually started the factory. It was before the UAE was even existent. And,
right.
And he decided to make like wakeboards and then water skis, I think, or something of that nature, and then snowboards. And a few guys from the snowboard manufacturing world from Austria moved up there, and then they've set it up, and they make a lot of boards, and we're pretty happy with them. And it's an interesting place to make stuff, but it's centrally located in the world.
It's funny, isn't it?
You can actually get stuff. There's a lot of manufacturing hubs there. I don't know what else is made in Dubai, but they definitely make a lot of big buildings
and apparently money. They just print it. It just falls out of trees and shit.
It's an interesting world, and it's like they've really switched it to being a tourist destination. So there's like the biggest of everything, or the fastest of everything, and you go up the Burj Khalifa, and it's a very large building, and go there, and
this is tall.
It's so if to the listener there, if you're ever going somewhere far away from wherever you are, if you have a chance to connect through Dubai, I don't know, stay for 3 days, look at some stuff, take some pictures, and it's definitely a different world. And going skiing was really cool. Me and Austin Smith, he snowboarded and I skied. I kind of wish I snowboarded because the snowboard rentals seemed a lot cooler than the ski rentals. Rossignol, and they're very stiff. But you walk through a mall, buy the Gucci stores, and buy all that stuff, and then they give you everything. And they have 3 sizes of boots. And
what?
Yeah, just 3. It's simplified product situation. I'm like, I'm a 26.5. They're like, we have a 28.5. I'm like, okay.
It's 7, 10, and 14. Yeah.
And And the slope is pretty interesting. It's bigger than I thought, and there was like a crew there. I'd never seen so much like Tom Wallish Pro Model stuff. Actually,
No
there
shit.
was like a few like freestyle kids, and like
Dang.
this one kid was wearing like Tom skis and Tom boots, and I'm like, yo, let me get a picture. And I'm like, I just texted to Tom. He's like, oh my god,
Like blow this kid's mind. Yeah.
So now it's cool to see, and everyone was happy inside. When you're sliding on snow, everyone's happy as it is, and some people, they've never seen snow before. There's also penguins in there. I didn't get to see the penguins, but
Pretty nuts. Yeah.
yep, there's penguins. There's a very large scuba diving thing. So me and Austin stayed a few more days and got our scuba diving certification in the Persian Gulf.
Sick.
Always want to do that. And then in Seattle, you have to do, for open water, you'd have to do it in Elliott Bay, which is a freezing cold Puget Sound. And it's more expensive, I think, in Seattle too. So it was an opportunity. We did it in 2 days, which was a little bit nuts. I'm pretty sure we got heat stroke after we did it, as I was sitting underneath the water at 40 feet, and was like, it's still 85 degrees down here.
Yeah, it's fucking hot still somehow. Yeah. Yeah, it cooks there for no reason, even at night. My dad and my brother went a year ago or something like that, and they just spent 10 days, 12 days with a family friend, and they were like, yeah, it was so bizarre.
I mean, even the Emiratis were like, you came at the wrong time.
Yeah.
We're like, well, we didn't really have a choice. But,
Yeah. They basically slept all day and then just went out at night and
Yeah.
just wandered. And it's
Yeah.
fine. It is what it is.
Interesting place. But yeah, those are those opportunities where it's just you're sitting in a factory in Dubai and you're like, wow, what an interesting career I've had, where it's brought me to some interesting places.
Yeah.
After going to, a week before, I was in Austria, which is where you think skis are made and everything.
Yeah.
Get our skis being made. And yeah, it was a big trip. It was 2 or 3 years of, COVID and not meeting the partners that we had, and just having that face-to-face connection, which there's, as much as I do, of the amount of connections that people have in this sport. And everyone's connected in some way. No one's getting rich in the industry. So it's you get to know a small select of people and all around the world. So it gives you lots of joy.
Yeah.
When it comes to that stuff.
It's funny, trade being paid well for good experiences constantly, right? It's it's very hard to find something that gives you both. But I was telling you earlier, it's crazy that you get to do this kind of shit as a job, and you get to go skiing and and obviously this is not the norm for everybody, but it's everybody gets to be in this industry where you are snow adjacent at the very worst. And that's fucking great.
Yeah.
It's great.
And living in Seattle, I have a lot of friends that are in the tech industry or have other jobs, and they have their Teslas and their things and everything. And I'm the interesting person there because it's you're making physical products, and you could talk about these things. And I've constantly, everyone should be always reevaluating their lives and their careers and what they want to do. And I've always looked into that world and be like, I should just sell out and go work for Meta or something like that. And then you talk to a few people and they're just like, oh yeah, that is very separating your job and life. So
yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that, at least not at this point. If I go super broke at some point, maybe, but and maybe I'll change my tone, but I just can't see it.
Or mowing lawns. I mean, in marketing in general, it's you're never really done with anything, and that's the thing. It's it's the project that is work hard on.
Yeah.
Here it is, it's done, and then it's sitting in a museum or something. It's a constant rolling, so you never really have a I finished. So if I drive by a field and I see somebody that's mowing the lawn,
this is the weirdest comparison I've ever.
I'm like, wow, that looks amazing, because he came there, the lawn was not mowed, he got it out, mowed the lawn, finished, saw his finished product, went home, and then a few weeks later, you have to do it again. So
much more satisfying, I think.
It is very satisfying to start and finish a project, whereas a rolling thing, you do look to the wins and you say, oh, wow, we did a good thing, but it's there's always a next thing. There's always another, oh shoot, or that could have been better. Or I mean, I guess you can always mow a lawn a little bit better sometimes, but
I just mean for mowing a lawn though, I actually think that's more satisfying because you fucking see the work A to Z, right?
It is so
that's what I mean. Yeah. Marketing, it's people ask that all the time. Does marketing work? Do you need marketing? How do you grasp, does it work? Measuring that marketing, whatever ROI
marketing,
is.
I mean, luckily there's a lot of tools and stuff now out there too. And I explain this to a lot of people that aren't in marketing, where it's the best marketing is when you don't think there is marketing, or when you're creating a community and a vibe and a feeling that you want to present to the public, and they want to feel a little bit of ownership of it too. So it's I've always, in starting this new brand, it was like I wanted to take a step back from the silly product tech names and things like that, or the trickery or things like that, and it's working, or not working. It's not. It's just, it feels good to be very transparent with stuff. So it's like and just being like a company that is based on it with really good good morals, I think, and having a North Star and a focus of making simplified products and celebrating everyone equally is cool, and it's great to start that way because there's a lot of baggage to longer tail brands out there, and it's tough and it's great to see other brands pivoting to this, having gender inclusive product lines and having a more simplified product line and the things that we really like. It's cool to see other people being like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We're like, oh, good, validation. Or when someone's like, I love that you guys don't have, skulls and mountains and stuff on your
I do too.
And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I mean, there's room for everything, I think, in snow sports, but to offer a different perspective of your relationship with your product is cool. And yeah, that's the thing we didn't touch on at all is the service aspect of it. I mean, some would say, what's your sustainability story? What are you doing to save the world? It's like, well, we wouldn't be making a ski brand if we were truly saving the world. I wouldn't be driving, my dad's SUV over here and all those things. We'd just be sitting in caves and not making any more children or something like that.
Let's talk about that.
To start the conversation, it is, skis and snowboards are durable goods that can last year over year or longer if you take care of them correctly.
Right.
And so with our partners and part owners, Evo, we had that opportunity from the get-go to offer something that no one else can offer, is free service for the life of the product. So for the listener out there, I'll kick into marketing person here. If you are near an Evo store in the West or in Whistler or Rhythm in Japan, when you buy the product from seasonequipment.com or Evo or one of these, if you bring it into an Evo, you can get a free tune every year, a free standard tune, which is like $80 right there.
Right.
For the life of the product. So to keep it going, and then you're going to also feel, oh, I didn't have the old product right away, when you see the new Q1 release, limited edition, something or other. So that longevity is a really cool thing to tout and to talk to people about, because they're like, oh yeah, I actually don't need to get something all the time. And and so there's people for that, because I remember the last time we talked, you're like, how the hell are you going to sell anything? Yeah,
we were hanging on that tagline of Season Equipment wants to sell less skis, and they were like, I want to sell enough skis.
We'd like to sell enough skis and snowboards to maintain our jobs and to grow and seeing it being a new company, and we are still introducing our company, our brand and ideas to more and more people every year, giving them that option to be like, oh, this is another way to think about it.
Yeah, right.
And hopefully in 10 or 15 years, we won't sell any skis and people will just be in some sort of subscription or membership program where they can just go somewhere and get teleported to a mountain and whatever, and then they can just pop up and have their skis there. But currently where we're sitting right now is people still want to buy their stuff and have a quiver and things like that, but they don't need to feel like it's an old product ASAP. And we're in, like I said, we've updated top sheets and builds and stuff for the skis. So we're not going to stop evolving like the skis. If there's a better material out there, if there's a better shape, if something's a bit long in the tooth, we're constantly going to be looking for new stuff. But it's not going to be that rapid fire this is new because it's new, because it has a slightly different radius or there's a point something degree difference. So yeah.
Which is a thing that happens all the time. It's funny, you look at the long-term progression of skis and how much shit has changed in the last 15 years, and you're like, oh, shit's changed a lot in the last 15 years.
There was an evolutionary time.
But year to year, almost nothing. It's these super small changes get made year to year that don't necessarily make sense.
The wrong word there. It was a revolutionary time in the late 90s to, I'd say, the 2010s or so of and you saw it. There was super fat skis for a long time. Well,
right. We had hellbents on the fucking floor in Western Mass, tons.
I love those things.
Dude, I want some.
Will Eganton and my friend Mike Reed have a shared pair in the Northwest.
Spatulas. If anybody's listening and has some fucking spatulas, that's what I need to find.
They
but
swear by them, and I've skied them a few times. I still think the Obsessed of that time was one
yeah, I've got one. I just bought one on eBay the other day, actually. Yeah.
Ski. And, yeah, that time of like going super fat or like crazy side cut and all these things. And there was enough time to like, you know, rapid fire and see what works and not. And now we're in an evolutionary time of like materials and more concepts. And so we're I guess positioned very well in the time that we're sitting in of offering a different idea of being like, everyone chill out.
Yeah.
You know, we don't need a new ski every year because it's really not changing that much. There's been a lot of work done, and Eric has done a lot of that work. I mean, it's what made us such a I don't know, a lightning strike in the industry quickly is because Austin and Eric and Andy and I have seen this, and they were like, the industry at large is like, wow, there's backing here. It's not just a bunch of dudes being like, let's make skis or make snowboards and see what works. So like partnering with like the best factories instantaneously, working with Eric, working with Austin, having Andy one of the best hard goods engineers there is, and offering something that we're proud of and can stand by year one was pretty cool. So now it's just about getting it out there to a lot more people, doing podcasts,
pushing the product.
Seattle, talking to people, and just saying, you know, I've spent a lot of time these last week or so in the East Coast just talking to old cousins and people in New York City. What do you do and everything? And
marketing on the ground.
Yeah, the on-ground marketing. I'm really hitting the Bed-Stuy region there.
No sales reps. That's what you got to do.
No sales reps. Yep. And that world of especially retailers is great, and it's what made our career and what makes a lot of snow sports companies. That distribution is needed. Not everyone's going to buy a ski off the internet. It's great. How we doing?
I think you're doing fine. I just want to make sure.
I think I need another beer. How do you cut? Oh, it's right there. Jeez.
Yeah, you're good. You're lined up, dude. We're fucking doomsday preppers over here.
Yep.
Fucking ready to go.
Hop Splash Pale Ale. Sierra Nevada.
That's the ad read for this week. I don't even need to do one now.
Sierra Nevada. It works.
Sierra.
You buy a
fireplace.
LED fireplace.
In West Springfield.
Zoom in on this. It makes you look like an evil person. You just crop it into just the fire.
Yeah. This is perfect. Yeah, Joe 100% is going to end up using
this.
Came
onto this podcast and started screaming crazy shit.
What do we think about the recycling shit that's going on with like ski boots, right? It's getting introduced heavy with ski boots right now in Europe. Yeah. This is a thing that's starting to happen. Is like
Atomic made a recycled boot a very long time ago. It was a crazy color.
I don't think the goal
what it was called. That could be a good question, trivia question for the listeners. I forgot what it was, but I actually just purchased a pair of Salomon shoes.
The indexes,
shoes,
yeah,
they are sweet.
They're great. It's a real
light.
Shoe. It's a little funny. The sole looks a little funny, right?
Yeah.
Like it's.
You certainly can't like throw them into your compost bin. I think they have to go back.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with the ski boots is they're only doing this program in Europe this year. Next year, I think it's supposed to go. Next year, or the year after, it's going to go to the U.S.
But what is the?
They're just going to melt all these fuckers down, and they're taking all the old boots. Like you can bring it to any shop, old boots, whatever, and they'll just melt these things down. I guess.
What they should do is regrind after. I mean, the term regrind is like, you know, the boots come off the molds and everything, and sometimes they get screwed up, and so they throw them in a big bin and they regrind it, and then you have your.
Yeah.
That's why there's black is like kind of the rental color there because it's all regrind.
I don't know what the plan is exactly with this stuff. All I know is like BlizzTech. So consequently, Nordica 2 are all like working on this program. And there was somebody else as well, Rozzy maybe, that is trying to do this actively. Like this is a thing that they're actually starting to push. So like my thought is that that's going to start to happen with skis eventually. It's just like.
Very difficult because
it is.
Epoxy does not.
No.
Can't. The thing is sealed together.
Right.
You might be able to rip off the edges and it's recycled aluminum as it is. Or steel, I think. And but yeah, that world of recycling, and it's tough too because you got to follow the whole line back, and most of recycling is buttoned up and shipped to China, and they're not taking it anymore. So those concepts are great, and it gets people thinking about it and feeling good about it. But I hate to go back to season equipment here. the number one, the best thing that you could do as a steward of this earth is to buy less shit and take
for
care of
sure.
it, And
it's funny. It's like making people feel good about throwing a bunch of shit that they had in their basement away. That's
Yes.
really what's like, that's my whole concern with the whole thing. And again, like, I don't know if it's even feasible for skis. I don't know how much it makes sense for boots. That's why they're testing it in Europe first.
Yeah.
And I guess they're having success with it, but it's like, how much energy does it cost to break that shit down versus the amount of like waste, say? Like, what's the end goal here?
You have a very long plan, and like
I
it
think
comes
that's
with forecasting of how many boots you're going to have. You probably wouldn't want to change the buckles ever if you wanted to reuse the reusing. Sorry to go back to season again. Reusing certain pieces that aren't broken or whatever, and refurbishing. I mean, the world of refurbishing is totally cool. I mean, I have there's down the street from me in Seattle is Wonderland Gear Exchange, which is a consignment store, and they have been doing a very good job in just educating people about like this, and a lot of people in this industry likes to have new stuff all the time.
Yeah.
But if there's a outlet for it, I mean, Goodwill's been there forever, but I feel like Goodwill throws away half the things that they get donated to them. But
probably
there they can resell stuff and resell, and it's really cool to see that. And it's I guess you'd say it's an entry too. If someone's like, I just moved to Seattle from wherever, LA or something like that, and I need to go try skiing because everyone here is walking around in a puffy coat, they can. It's a easier way into the market, and then they don't have to buy everything brand new if they don't like it or not, and they can give it back.
right.
So I'm a big fan of the reuse and renew. North Face has a really good program. Working with Austin Smith, he's really been a big spearhead of that program, which is cool. And Patagonia has the same thing too. So
Terex is doing a new one too. It's like all these
that
brands
scale,
are starting
it's
to figure
cool
it out.
See the bigger companies doing it, and it's as long as the budget and the expectations aren't on the marketing budget.
Yeah. Oh,
as long
yeah.
As long as it's built into the product plan, and then there is a long-term goal of being like, we're going to shift X percentage of our, yearly stuff, or X percentage of our product line is going to be evergreen, and it's not going to change ever. So you can order more material, more efficient, less waste, and then X amount is going to hopefully will come back to us and redo it there. But it's there's a lot of webs. It's not just window dressing, because like I think the consumer is getting a little bit more aware of that, like greenwashing window dressing type thing, where it's like, is this sustainable? Yeah. It's like, not really, actually. So we try not to do that, and it's partnering with the right programs. We do 1% for the Planet, which is very easy to sign up for as an individual and as a company, and it's also very easy when you start your company and it's built into your product already.
Right.
As
Your plan on it.
Like, if it's a big company, you're like, oh God, 1% is actually a significant amount of money.
It's actually a lot. That's someone's salary. Yeah.
But it's a great program because they do have a lot of different ways you can contribute that 1%. It's like in product in kind if you're donating it, or you can put their logos in your ads, or there's a lot of marketing funds you can do there, and it makes it very easy. It's working with them has been really cool.
We are interrupting this wonderful episode to tell you, which is funny because like I think we're talking about Josh's skis probably at this juncture, but I'm going to tell you about some skis that I like personally quite a bit more, even though Josh makes great skis and it's a great company and blah, 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 blah. I'll tell you what, if you're buying a new pair of skis this year, buy a pair of Fisher skis. They're landing in shops and have landed in shops across the country right now. And holy shit, that new Ranger line is absurd. Like, it's so much fun. Honestly, like, this is the feedback that I've given a lot of people. It's like, if you're expecting a Ranger 102 free, like the pink one from last year, it is not that ski. It is more versatile, slightly more aggressive. Mounting point changes everything. Go check out. And if you have the opportunity, if you live in an area like where there's demos that are happening, go try a Fisher Ranger. Whether it's the 102, which is what I ski as my daily, the 96, which is what Ethan skis as his daily, or the 108, which is what I want to be skiing daily. That 108, pound for pound, one of the best skis on the market right now. Like, I mean, that ski is fucking phenomenal. I don't know why I'm swearing in ads today, but you know what? We're rolling with it. You can go to fishersports.com and check out the whole new Ranger line. Go buy yourself some new skis. Go to your local shop, talk to them about it. You can also buy them direct on Fisher's website. But go get some insight from the professionals. Go talk to your local retailer. Go online and call somebody. Like, go talk to somebody or me. Just call me. You want my cell phone number? Just slide in the DMs and you can call me and talk to me about Rangers all day long. Okay? I'm not doing it for other ski brands, but I will do it for Fisher. We'll talk you through every single ski, what they mean, what does what. I'm happy to. Give me a call. Okay? We're rolling on in to our friends at Woodchuck. Woodchuck Cider is the premier. Ethan, can you change the slide? Like, what is this? What kind of operation are we running around here, dude?
It's slow.
Oh, God. It's slow. He's blaming the computer. Woodchuck Cider is the original American hard cider made in Vermont. It is accidentally gluten-free, which, if you know this about me, I have developed a gluten intolerance over the past 6 months or whatever, and it kills me. I like roll over. And if you are looking for a substitute, this holiday season, this new year, whatever, Woodchuck has a gluten-free product across the board, and they also have about 1 million different flavors that are available in liquor stores and online across the country. You can actually have some of this product shipped to you depending on what state you're in. And if you're in the wonderful state of Vermont, some would say the best state in the country, you can head over to the Woodchuck Cidery. They're like 20 minutes from Stowe or something like that. So if you're up there, if you're going to Bolton, if you're going to Stowe, you're going to Sugarbush, stop by the cidery, cider house, and check out everything that Woodchuck has to offer, including Granny Smith, Amber, Rosé, Prosecco, Sangria, Mimosa, Guava Nuther, Bellini. How many more can I do, you think?
I was really just excited about the turkey.
Ethan's just happy about the turkey. You can make a thing with a turkey and stick a can in it. And all right, anyway, there's a recipe to make a turkey on Woodchuck's website apparently as well. I don't know why this is what he's putting on my screen, but this is where we're at right now. Go to woodchuck.com, order yourself some Woodchuck today.
And then our other thing is climate neutral, which is it basically every year we have a formula, or like we type in all the things if we used air shipping or ocean shipping, and all of a sudden it kind of pops out what our carbon footprint is, and then we can see that and know what the hell we're doing, and then go from there and try to offset as much as possible. But offsets is there's a whole nother conversation about offsets these days too.
That's what I was going to ask you, honestly, is like, what is that?
John Oliver really
is
a great thing
yeah.
about offsets.
Is it enough to do, like, even just being carbon neutral, right? Like, that's the thing that people, I get this question kind of a lot actually, where people are like, yeah, carbon neutral's whatever, like it's fine, but that like it's not good enough anymore.
Yeah, neutral isn't really, you want to be carbon negative.
Yeah, exactly, right? Or is it carbon positive or carbon negative? I think it's carbon positive, right?
Not positive.
It's negative. Yeah, nobody's positive anymore. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the answer is to it, because you're making a bunch of shit no matter what. Like, that's a negative right out of the rip, right? Mm-hmm. You're making more shit and you're putting it into the world. Like, that is a problem regardless. We all need to. Consumerism, capitalism, whatever the fuck. Like, it's just how it goes. People buy shit, they keep rolling. I just don't know where to set the expectation for brands anymore. Like, what is good enough to do for a brand, for a regular consumer to be happy with what the brand is doing environmentally, right? Like, I don't know.
Every person has a different box, or a
totally
box to check, but like, you know, some people don't. It's your priorities are, if you are in a position to make those choices.
Yeah.
If you make enough money, or you're going to buy all organic or things like that, that's great. And then I think it comes down to how you see the company portraying itself and what their values are.
Right.
And it's, the product making is only a part of it. It's the activities of the company. I don't travel as much. I traveled a significant amount in my previous role, and it was, part of it was mildly selfishly to get to different places, but to have a relationship with everybody in the organization. But with Zoom and everything, we're all much more connected and don't really have to go anywhere as much. And if I do go somewhere, I try to go for longer than I should. I'm not going to go to Europe for 3 days because it's just very bad and also terrible just personally. But yeah, it just comes down to consumers' priorities of what they want to do, and take what is being told to them and make their own decisions, and you go from there. And every once in a while you still need to buy something from Amazon. You need to have it tomorrow or whatever, and you're just like, you could be one of those support local stuff, but if you need that,
I know it's tough.
That air purifier as the
or specific cartridge for something specifically that like fits in it. You're like, where do I even go to buy this? Like, you don't even fucking know where to buy it, and it's like some random shop in the middle of nowhere, and they maybe have it, don't answer the phone. Like, there is definitely a downside to like shopping local and that, and I do think that people that aren't willing to acknowledge that are just fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Like, there is a downside. There's obviously a huge downside on the Amazon side and the mega business side of things. But there's also like, there's a balance somewhere that's really important to find. Like, for shops, the conversation is always like, is direct to consumer a good thing? Is it a bad thing? To me, like the way that we run our business and the way that a lot of shops run their business, it's actually a good thing. Because like, you then rely on the service, there's less overhead, you adjust your business according to what's happening.
Yeah.
And you make it work. And then people, as long as you treat people well when they bring in their shit
too, according to what their business plans are too.
So exactly. It's like, exactly.
The last thing you want to be is just overrun with product. And you're like, well, I have to buy it because I'm getting an insane deal because Johnny's Ski Company has too much, they forecasted wrong. And now I have all these something 130s or whatever.
And then you're like guys shaking fists at Cloud because like you're not selling enough product, like, and like everybody's buying their shit online. It's like, who fucking, to me, who actually cares? Go to your local shop if you can, buy what you want from your local shop if you can. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't need to be this, like, the guilt thing in shops bothers me so much because it ruins it for every other shop. When you're like a pile of shit and you're like making people feel bad about buying things from other places, who fucking cares, man? Like, dude,
your shop being like, oh, where'd you get these on the internet?
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Like, yeah, no shit. Well, we got seasons. Where did they come from? Like, oh, dude, like, I don't care where they came from.
Yeah, and it all comes. I mean, as in my career, it does come down to communication, and people are in their own little world, and they have their moment of. It's usually a buying group meeting or whatever to scream at you for some reason for something that has been icking them for a whole year, and then when you have a conversation and you say where the business is at or what you're gonna do, everyone's kind of okay with it. But
buying group going away too, though, huh?
Oh, really?
Not the buying group's not going away. Brands are Elevate in particular removing themselves.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a. With the systems and the programs, like the ordering systems that you have now, there's not as much. You can offer different discounts much easier than it was before. It was a convenience thing. Right. I mean, the concept of a buying group, much like socialism stuff, makes sense on paper. Yeah. But then in reality, it's like, oh wait, we're making different deals for different people all the time, and then. It's not even really going. It's not. They're not buying a bulk amount of product to go to their warehouse to be disseminated throughout their group. It's just.
Yeah, you're still dealing with it.
Yeah,
still dealing with it. It's a little funny. We've never been part of a buying group. I don't care about a buying group. Like, to me, it's fucking annoying. It's like either you. I don't know. You just buy the volume.
Bigger industries, it makes a lot of sense because you.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's hard. It's hard. I always struggle with trying to. Compare the snow sports world with other industries. I mean, is it like tennis or golf or things like that? Is there that many specialty retailers of things other than snow sports? I mean, tennis and
bikes, golf, obviously, but like it's hard because those things you need the serviceable aspect of it, and that's like the biggest. That's why specialty is holding on so long in snow sports is because people don't. And I honestly think a lot of it too is like and binding release is holding people into shops. And boots holding people into shops so aggressively because you can't go and just buy any boot online and just hope it fits.
I mean, and the last thing I ever want to see is too many shops going away. Like the good ones are in this, I guess you would say, revolutionary time of especially retail. The good guys are doing great. And Ski Monster guys are doing great down in Boston. And there's certain hubs. Evo's service is unbelievable. Yeah. And they started on the internet and then moved to brick and mortar. And those stores are just so they have great staff and it's a great experience when you do it. But there are some stores that are kind of just go old school. You kind of go in there and you're like getting yelled at because you ordered your thing on the internet and then they don't have the boots that you want or can't get them from the manufacturer correctly or be fit correctly. So it's It's nice.
Yeah. No, it's great. And good shops are great.
I think the government should have a stipend for having people on the West Coast, East Coast to go to a different part of the country and hang out with them for a little bit. We were very divided these days. And,
Sure.
right after I got my COVID shot, I wanted to, deep flex it. And I went to Florida. And just to, check it out. And I tell you what, people are very nice in Florida. I think politics might be a little bit different.
Yeah.
And whatever, but, they say hello, how you doing, whatever they care about you. Maybe, there's a little bit more there. But, you don't want to write off human beings in general.
No.
And people might say the wrong thing, the wrong pronouns, things of that nature.
Whatever.
But
that's fine.
Let's get off that surface thing where everyone's real bristly right now and just waiting to pick a fight.
It's been better lately. Post COVID, it's been much. It seems like everybody's kind of taking a little bit of a chill pill. Everybody's hanging out. It seems like people are more willing to just accept people where they are and try to make it better versus
you got to meet people where they're
pitchforking
at.
everyone. Yeah,
you can't
right.
Just be nope, this is my way or the highway, and that's that. And
that was brutal for a minute. And it's again, I'm down to just pick on people every once in a while and just have a little fun with it. It's it's an East Coast thing. I am perfectly fine with it. I just it just felt very direct in the moment. So I was you know what? I'm going to just do my thing. I will be petty for the next 12 months. I will hold on to it, and it's all good. But like I said, exactly. He is welcome on anytime. Any of those boys are. And I won't fight with them. It is what it is. It's just that's how you squash these things. Especially, I feel like New England is very good at that, right? They're very good at spitting in your face and then being best friends afterwards. Mm-hmm. It's it seems like that actually happens a lot more here than in other places. But on the government stipend thing for sending people place to place, do we want Midwestern people in either place?
I think you just learn so much from somebody. You just learn so much, and especially Northwest native Rick Steves. Rick Steves?
No,
Rick Steves, Rick Steves Europe.
Because you added a continent, it doesn't mean I know who he is.
He has a show on PBS, and he's a big proponent of travel diplomacy, and because the thing is, when you're sitting in your own place, the stereotypes of a place far away from you, that's what you think it is. And then you go there and you go, oh, these people are just like me or whatever. And it's he's a big, Rick Steves is great. He's been doing videos about Europe forever. And he was a big proponent of legalized marijuana in America because he spent so much time in Amsterdam and saw it in practice and brought it back. But the amount of non-passport holders in America, you look at geography. We're literally on a giant island or continent that not many people have the opportunity to go to another place. But when people do meet each other face to face, it's a little less screaming at each other on the internet.
Yeah, I agree.
Go to Florida, everybody. Listener, go to Florida.
It's actually a great place to be. No bullshit. Awesome. The worst things on planet Earth seem to happen in Florida, or the weirdest things on planet Earth seem to happen in Florida, but it's actually a really nice place.
Low cost, great weather.
Yeah, it costs $23 to get a flight down there. And
Key West, it was great, and people are just having a good time. Everyone's kind of on vacation all the time, and it's not the South; it's Florida.
It's very weird. It's very weird.
Florida, and I don't know. I feel like I need to go more places like that in America because
where if you could pick a place that you could just go to that you don't people don't typically go to, the Oklahomas of the world, or of the country.
Went to a wedding in Kansas City, Missouri, which was amazing.
Okay.
With a bunch of people from Boston, and when they opened their mouth, they were just like, "Oh my God, where are you from?" This is the craziest accent ever. And America, I feel like I've been to a lot of places. I've never been to Chicago, actually. Chicago seems cool. Or a place where there's snow in that culture. Yeah, the upper Midwest seems pretty sweet because it seems like it's very, those places are tough. So it's you got to be really passionate about the thing. I want to go to Cascade, which my friend Ryan Schmees and Jamie Voss and these guys have been to, or they grew up in, pretty sure that's Wisconsin somewhere. And I don't know. It's a lot of different places.
Schmees gets so much work, by the way. And probably not enough. The dude's
he's
insanely, but even the fucking van that I had for a while, he's like, oh yeah, I did that graphic. Can you send me a picture? I still haven't seen it.
Yeah, he works what do you mean? Smith a lot, and then just a whole bunch of other ones. And he's
he did a shit ton of K2 graphics. He did those Hellbents, and
it's because he worked as a graphic designer at K2 forever and knows that world of project based things, and is also an artist too. So he can add his creative spin on everything, and knows the scope or like whatever. Like there could be, crazy. Make this more easy on someone.
Yeah,
eyes, or make it less I guess intense.
Yeah,
but he's made those too, which is cool.
Do you
love Shmies? Shout out Shmies.
Dude, he did the finger thing to me. Like when he like pretends.
I still don't know why his finger is that.
Yeah, he just makes up a new story. He told me he did it 2 days ago or something when I met him for the first time, and then he would like put it back. He's like, "Look, it still does this." And then later, Powell was like,
"Very on brand."
That was not yesterday. That's been forever.
Very on brand to keep that going.
For people that are, what'd you say?
He was bit by a squirrel.
That's what he told you
as a child.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
a
yeah.
real thing.
Yeah.
His hand and thing, and the squirrel bit him.
All right, well, I don't know about all that. I'm not believing any of his stories anymore.
Notes, yeah.
I'm fucking, exactly. Bit by a squirrel.
Notes?
What?
Is there show notes?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I don't write them, but somebody does.
Nice.
Yep, Charlie. Shout out Charlie. I got Charlie's Christmas card right here.
I hope the listeners made it this long.
I think people do. We got an 86% listen through rate. I think that's pretty good.
Wow.
It's Charlie's Christmas card. Little baby.
Nice.
New baby.
Didn't make a Christmas card this year. I should.
Yeah, I probably should. If people have to start, like people want to get their foot in this industry, it's like we're talking about all these cool jobs and things that people do and Shmies and what you do and like what all these people do. How do people even get a start in this industry? Because like the entry point is like everything sucks ass. You make no money. You got to work your ass out. Like, so how do you get to a point where what does that trajectory look like?
Man.
You think?
It's still a supply and demand curve. It's a small sports industry. There's really not that much. It's not like there's very large, and the large companies are still only 20 or so people. And so, I don't know, it's doing things for free. Well, not for free, but it's calling up the right people and getting some I guess FaceTime with the right people and sticking around. And I always go back to my story of just basically like just cold calling and being like, do you need any help or whatever, and showing up and not being a dummy when it comes to it, and then seeing opportunities and maybe getting your foot in the door. And customer service is always the best one, because if you didn't work at a shop or something like that, customer service, which nowadays you can be a customer service rep anywhere. And Evo's customer service guys are all around the country because they can just log on and you get to know the consumer, you get to know that that path, and you get to know a lot more about the products and people's skills are where it's at. And so that's a good foot in the door. But yeah, internships and just keeping your eye out there, like getting on the right feeds and contributing and making something out of nothing, I guess, too. I mean, this is sitting at this purple table here is a great example of making something out of nothing, being like, I want to have some conversation with people, and I have the means to do it, and then it grows from there. And in my world, my friends and I at University of Vermont in Champlain, we just were kind of broke and wanted to get free gear and do cool stuff and make videos. And so we made kind of a more or less fake video company and got free passes from Sugarbush. And then we wanted to slide rails on campus, but you get kicked out. So it was like, well, let's have competitions or rail jams or whatever they're called. And so
whatever they're called,
and figure out all the needs that you need to do that. And we call up the guy, Jay Leventhal, down the street, and he gave us his liability insurance for like $2 million, like a bunch of college kids. And it's very easy to like sign over your liability insurance to somebody.
Why? It can't be easy still. Like
certificate of COIs. I don't know. It's wild, because if you already have that, you can just.
I guess that's true, though. It must still be easy, because that's all that we used to do rail jams at the fucking park down the street, and like,
and every rep needs to have them for like demos and things like that. But it was just like, it's just like looking at the whole process and seeing what you want to, and what your end goal is to have a good time or to do whatever. And when we made those events or those videos and things like that, we didn't realize we were actually getting like real life experience.
Yeah.
And doing things. And so it was like, there was marketing aspects of that. There was production aspects. There was like logistical aspects. And from there, you're like, you have things you can't take away from yourself.
Yeah.
And I go, in my head also, like, it's my previous role, I was, globally overseeing 2 brands in the world. And then, in the last 3 years, people will ask me like, what do you do? What's your title? And I'm just like, well, I don't really know sometimes
Yeah.
because it's a startup atmosphere and it can be intern / customer service to CEO, depending on who I'm talking to or what I'm doing.
Intern.
And, you know, I have a lot of anxiety about that because I'm just like, oh shit, am I like digressing in my career or whatever? But actually no, because I'm gaining a lot of experience in every aspect of like launching a brand, what is necessary, what's not. You know, a lot of trial and error. So it's just like, yeah, that trial and error. This is a very long-winded answer to your question there of how do you get your start. But yeah, it's just be curious is the thing. And everyone always says, what is that thing that you're good at? And I'm like, nothing really, actually. I just know a little bit about everything. And if I hit a stop or whatever, I'm going to figure it out in some way.
Yeah.
And so. And the end goal is to keep your job that doesn't seem real sometimes. And that's not always the end goal. It's sometimes you want to change snow sports or change some consumers' minds. You're going to figure out how to do it if you have that kind of North Star. So like, I never really do it or whatever, but people should write down their goals. They should journal about it and check in with themselves. There's a lot of those things. A lot of books about that these days.
Quite a few. Write down your shit. And
the last 3 or 4 years have been a drastic change from my normal life of working at K2 Sports. And so I've been very facing my own, not mortality, but my own person.
Your own shit, yeah.
My own shit. So I'm just like, oh boy, yeah, this is really what it is. So there is a lot of tools and help out there in therapy to help you figure out how to make your life more enjoyable, I guess.
Yeah. It's funny. You texted me. This is one of the things I wanted to talk to you about. You texted me a while ago about like going to therapy and like doing all this shit. It's like, what? Okay. So why did you decide to go to therapy? Why does it matter? Why is it like, and one of the biggest things that we were talking about is like men going to therapy and being like, okay with being like, look, I have shit that I need to unpack and I need to talk to somebody about it that actually can like give me some feedback, right?
Oh, yeah. Brain's a muscle, dude. And it's, it takes a long time, especially for men, of course.
Dude, yeah.
Always a stigma, things like that. There should be no stigma. I mean, and if you have the means to do it, the problem is it's never really covered by insurance.
Yeah, barely.
Like, insurance is there to get old and make sure if you break your leg or whatever, you're paid for it. But, like, your brain's, the biggest thing. I feel like not a broken record, but, like, I'm just saying what a lot of other people say on things like this of just, like, it's that muscle you need to, like, always be looking at and being like, okay, am I cool as whatever? Or like, I've been through a lot, or like, all of us have been through a collective trauma of this pandemic. And we'll see years and years down the line when there's much smarter people than you and me that do studies on this stuff. That was a lot. There was a lot of changes in my personal life, and I was back in Seattle, and the job became less like, I guess, rigid or whatever. I knew my KPIs. I knew my things in K2 Sports World. Where this, it's just like kind of amoebus or nebulous. Is the word of just like, what are we doing? And so that, as much as you want to, partition work and life enough, it all goes into one. So I'm just like, I probably should get into this or whatever, and it's impossible to get a therapist in Seattle.
I'm sure.
And how I did was I was working at my house, and this like city bus that picks up a woman down the street from me that gets dialysis over a few days backed up into a car, and I saw it, and I'm like, oh, they'll leave a note, and they didn't, and so I neighborhood watch guy take a picture of the bus. And then later that day, my neighbor who I'd never met before, she comes out and she's looking at her car all smashed up, and I'm just like, I know who hit your car. And then like,
wow,
and
you're snitching, huh?
Yeah. Well,
I died. I'm just fucking.
And then she emailed me later, and she's like, yo, you saved me like $1,000 because it wasn't a hit and run. Like, we got all the insurance figured out. Like, what do you want? Like whiskey or chocolate or something like that. And in her signature, it was like Doctor of Psychology, and I'm just like, weird request, but I've been like looking for a therapist. Do you have anybody? I've been striking out. And she's like, I got you covered. She gave me a few of them, and I got into this one woman, and then we started going every 2 weeks or so, and it's like, the whole time I'm told like, I'm my own therapist. I have my friends, blah, blah, blah.
You're fine, yeah.
But then it is nice to have that person that has zero judgment whatsoever, and you just say the most wacky stuff, and they can help guide you and things like that. And it's but it takes a lot to like take that stigma down, and there's it's work. Everything's work.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Like,
you see that Jonah Hill Netflix thing?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
I thought that was great. And that was a very, like, intro. And there's more stories about it, too, of, like, the skills that you can kind of lean on and stuff. And I was like, damn, this is really good. And
yeah.
And it's cool to see. I mean, in the last year or two of me doing that sort of journey, if you will.
It's been that long?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's been like a year or so.
Okay.
It's kind of just like, oh my God, there's a lot going on here. And then societal pressures, people are getting married, having babies and things like that. So I'm just like,
yeah.
Ugh, and I'm like single as hell right now. And so,
just putting that out there.
Yeah.
This is very much like Hinge. This is Hinge.
Of the 99% of probably dudes listeners. Like, this freaking guy. Yeah. I'm not sure if this is the best place to find a girlfriend, but
might be.
Two guys sitting in a studio.
It works. I've heard it works. I don't know. Like, I'm just telling you, I heard it works.
Yeah. Well, that'll be the third time I come out.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm moving back to Connecticut. Here we are. My mother would love that.
I live here now.
Yeah. But the how was I going with that? Yeah, it's just like, it all takes work, and it's just like figuring it out. But like, oh yeah, I can actually start building upon it, or seeing like, oh, this is my attachment style, or this is my whatever. There's like so much tools out there if you take a step to like sit back and do it. But what I was getting at too is like, I got real freaked out by people that say like everything's fine, or like or everything seems fine all the time, or they're never wrong, or they can't be like whatever, or like they're just like, oh yeah, everything's perfect, like whatever. It's like, I don't know, we're all fucked up in some way or another. So
yeah, like I'm anxious. Yeah. What do you mean? I'm anxious breathing sometimes.
I don't know what anxiety is, but I think I have it sometimes.
Yeah. Like 3 or 4 years ago, someone told me what anxiety was, and I'm like, oh, I'm the most anxious person I know. Like,
got it.
So people don't just have panic attacks on a Tuesday for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a weird bit.
Yeah, knowing yourself, and it's like knowing if your knees, you got a trick knee, or it hurts when the pressure changes or something like that. It's like, oh, this is a situation I'm going to go into that's going to give me like serious anxiety. So like to be able to fall back on some tools, or just like breathe and do whatever.
Right.
It's all good. So it's like, just knowing those things about your brain, which is the thing that controls everything else, is crucial. So yeah, I recommend it. And it's like, the first few months, I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? Like, what are we
spend a lot of money?
And then you're like, actually, I feel kind of much better about whatever the hell I was talking about.
Yeah, it was pretty aggressive. Like for me, it was like right away. Like I was like, I feel better 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in.
Down, or just talking to somebody random that's not going to like, because if it's your friend or whatever, you could be their closest friend or your whoever, you're still having in your head being like, oh gosh, I'm like, my soul here, whether it's just like some professional who's like professionally like this. Like the first time I went there, I'm just like, I'm fine. there's nothing wrong with me or whatever.
Like,
and I'm just like, oh, you seem like a people pleaser. I'm like, oh my God, I am.
Yeah.
I have no barriers.
Yeah.
I'll like do whatever. And I'm just like, ooh, barriers. And it annoys people sometimes.
It's like they pull one brick out and then everything starts falling.
Yeah. I like having it's not easy. And people are always around to like push your boundaries and stuff. And and then if you step back and say no thanks or whatever, or this is what I'm worth, or this is you get a reaction. I do it. You get a reaction and it hurts. But if you're not prepared for it, you'll just be walked all over. So it's
for sure. That was one of the things that I started noticing was I'm saying yes to too many things that I don't want to do, just so that I don't disappoint someone or make someone else upset or this or the other thing.
And
that
they're
was
all good ideas. You just don't have enough time in the day to do them.
And like you got to figure out what you want and what you should do, right? It's like there's like this weird line that you have to figure out. It's like there's a certain amount of things you don't want to do that you should do. Mm-hmm. There's a certain amount of things that you need to do because you really want to do them, like that fulfillment side of it. It's like a very weird stew of things that you need to like figure out. And I think that's what's been the most helpful for me is like just talking about what that looks like and being like, why did you say yes to going to this place that you don't really want to go just so that you could say you went? Mm-hmm. It's like, well, I guess.
Yeah, it's got to feel right.
Yeah, you just got to. And
that's the other thing, too, is like I fully have adult ADHD. And so once you know that, you're like, oh, that's why I do that or whatever. And it's not, and it shouldn't be like seen as a disability. I mean, you can weaponize it like crazy. I definitely
For
have
sure.
in my
Yeah,
career.
yeah.
You know, I'm able to like, and then that term attention deficit is like the wrong summary
For that 1 hour, you're like, I just did 4,000 things in 1 hour.
It's attention like hyperactivity where you're like, no, I pay attention to everything. I barely take notes on things, but it's like because I remember every single part of it.
Yeah.
And so with that, you have to know, okay, that's how my brain works. And so when you're interfacing with other people, you go, okay, maybe their brain doesn't work like that. And so how can how can we meet in the middle, or how can we do whatever? So that's a cool thing to like know about your, and it shouldn't be an excuse of anything or whatever. People are still human beings, but it's like, you're like, oh, that's why I over promise and do whatever.
Yeah.
Or that's why I wait till the last possible second to do something, and then it becomes beautiful. Because before it was just like, oh, that's just how I am, or like whatever.
Right.
And it's just nice to, you don't. Yeah, the putting a label on it isn't like a cop out. It's just like, yeah, everybody has a
thing.
Do stuff.
Yeah.
And they have a different way of doing it. So it's just about navigating that world and meeting other personalities and going from there.
Right. Yeah, it's funny. I tell people all the time, it's like one of the reasons that this whole thing works really well is because like Ethan and I have like the opposite brain. Like Ethan is super organized, super particular, like needs to do all this shit. But if like he had to do the erratic, like make a decision, fucking run around, this guy, 40 things in it, he would fucking, there would be no functional way to make that work. And if I, on the other side, had to be like, this camera needs to be here, this camera needs to be here, that needs to go there, that we need to send this tax report into this part. And I'm like, it's not gonna happen, buddy. Like you take away from something else, and it is very interesting to see like how the different personality, especially like on the back end of things.
Oh yeah,
like how you deal with other people in your circle and like just accepting where they're at. I think that was one of the things too that I was just like, look, I can't expect everything from everybody. I just have to expect a different thing based on how I know them. You know?
And to bring it back to why I'm actually here, what we're talking about, Seasoned Equipment, it's amazing. The guys that work on it daily are there's a lot of support on from all of our partners, but the guys daily, Andy's an engineer, Eric is an artist and creative, and Austin is a professional athlete. All contribute so much to the brand in so many different ways. And with me, where I always say I don't know anything about one thing, it is I can cook dinner and I can mow the lawn at the same time.
Yeah.
Whereas or shift that brain like really quickly, and the other guys we all complement each other super well.
Yeah.
Because it's just like it comes down to relationships and communication and setting expectations and where we're at and what we can accomplish when we can. So it's it's a beautiful thing. You learn a lot starting a business with your friends.
Yeah, dude, for sure. Like it's and there's no one to like. You guys are it. So when there's a solution that needs to, like, you need to come to a solution, you have to find it out. Yep. Like, you have to figure it out somehow.
What are we doing here? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's no one to go be like, hey, fix this.
Which
like,
is so empowering at the time.
It's so cool. It's sick.
Terrifying also, where it's just
fucking
like,
terrifying.
Oh, it's us. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's going to fix this? Oh, who can I blame? No one. It's you.
And we have all the resources and tools at our disposal, and there's just a lot in the toolbox and so many different paths we can go down. And as the brand matures and the customer becomes a little bit more like, oh, this is our community, we can, make the best informed decisions we can. Some of them aren't going to work out. Some are going to be great. And, you just know you're never going to hit a home run every time. And that's life. That's what's cool about life.
How do you get to the point of acceptance where you're like, this is fine, right? Like, this is good enough to put out into the public, like this is enough. Like that's a really hard thing, and like
that's the anxiety all the time. Is because we have so much content. Like Eric created a lot of content for that. Like So with the brand, we if there's any still listeners here, we're talking about skiing and snowboarding, not our like personal brain lives and things like that. But year one, we had a brand. Here we are, Eric Austin, Evo in partnership, blah blah, Black Skis, like the whole thing. Year two was like, this is what the product can do. And so he was more or less broke his back, like making these amazing like little mini films of each product that we have. And so I was showing the product in action. In the year three, which we're in right now, we were able to highlight individuals in our community and tell their stories. And we have so many vignettes and things of like so many different people. Like there's almost too much per year. We actually have more things. We shelve things for the year before or for next year too. And layering on there, but like it's, yeah, there's a certain point where you're like, it's the fall. We need to get it out. You need to do it. And it's like, it can always be better.
Yeah.
But it's like, you have to come back to that, like, we are 100, like, only a few of us are 100% thinking about this at all times. This is a 0.5% of someone's day. They may love the brand, but they're not going to, like, drag us through the mud if, like, something wasn't color corrected correctly or whatever. So it's like getting it out there and having a cadence of what people can expect is where it's at. So you have to, like, take that back. Like, I mean, honestly, like, maybe the last product line I had with Line, I'm like, nothing could be wrong here or whatever. It was like the best product line I ever
What year was this? So people can go back and pick you apart?
Yeah, exactly.
No. What year was it that you felt like that? That was 2019, 2018?
It was the year that 2020, I think. It was like the
1920 line.
We had just introduced the Vision 118.
Okay.
And
which is a good year.
And the Vision skis, I think, were great. And I think the Vision 108 is one of the better skis out there. But like I was just like, everything is like consistent. Like the designs were great. The product line was like tight. And at that time, I thought a tight product line was 26 models of skis.
Yeah,
5.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that is.
Okay. But like for the distribution that we had, that is a tight line, and that is there was something for everybody, and there was a good, better, best, and there was like widths and things like that. I was like, this is great. But like my entire career, I was like, that could always been better, or like we could have like spent more time developing this thing, and this thing, and like and you need that when someone is developing a brand or developing a product. You want them to be like hyper sensitive about it. And then when you put it out to the public, you realize, no one's talking about the slight radius here, like the little nose thing here, like in the outline there was like a little nub in the tooling that I would see every time, and I'm like, God damn it, why didn't we fix that? Yeah. thing? So it's like when we went back before talking about people and like everyone's so like divided. It's like it's meeting in the middle, and like meeting in the middle means progress and going forward. I'm not saying we're like putting out a shitty product or whatever. Like everything can always be better. My iPhone can be better probably, but people are happy with it.
Yeah, no, stuff is great. It's I've said this for a long time. Like I think even at the minimum aesthetically, it is one of the current season line is like one of the more perfect looking lineup. Yeah. It's how actually I think all ski, and I've said this for like a long time.
You're talking shapes or like.
I think shapes are important in the way that you guys are doing shapes is awesome. Like, and I think that that's a very unique approach in skiing because snowboards do it very well, right? Mm-hmm. Like they already do shaping the same way surf does it in the sense that like we're looking at actual different shapes. Ski industry's always not been that great at it. Like here's skis are skis. There's an evolution.
I spent so much time looking at tip shapes and just like, and the tip doesn't even touch the snow.
Exactly.
But like, but on a wall, that's where someone's buying it. You're like, ooh, that looks a little weird. Like whatever. It's like,
and there's an argument there that like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. It turns off a certain amount of people. Like it's funny. I remember like one of the first skis I ever sold was like a Rossi Avenger 82 Ti, right? And this was like a great name.
Avenger. Fucking
tank of a ski, but like blunted tip, right? And that was like one of the big hurdles to have to explain as like a 15-year-old is like, it's not touching the snow. There's a reason they did it. Just trust me. Just go ski it. It skis fine. Like it's no different because of the tip shape, but it does matter in the way that people buy skis, the way that people look at skis, and like even some of that line stuff that Pollard was putting out, like where it has that like little bubble in the last couple of years of like the Bacon or the Opus or whatever the fuck.
And it might irk you, but like to a lot of people, that's not even a thing they thought about or whatever.
For sure.
I'm sure
for ski designers, somebody's cringing right now.
Car designer is looking at the hood scoop of something and is just like, I can't believe anyone even buys that. And
for sure.
I didn't even realize that was.
I get mad at bindings all the time, and people are like, why the fuck do you care? Like, what's the problem here? It's like, what's the issue? It's like, I don't know. Like, it makes me mad. Like when people do shit like that.
Ones, they look like a little fighter jet.
I like it.
Strive.
I like it sort of. It still seems kind of plasticky, but it skis really good. Like it feels good. So I mean, it's just I don't know. There's bindings or that's a thing I don't think I can handle getting into right now. But it's a mess. The whole binding.
It's funny though that is a thing that is like different in everything. Yeah. It should be probably a normal.
The
same thing. And every few years, everyone's like, this is what a binding looks like now.
Yeah, it's everybody should make look pivots. Is that what you're saying? Everybody should make pivot 15s.
I need to try the pivots again. My brother Jason loves the pivots, and I'm just like, I don't.
It's just metal. I just like that it's metal.
Very metal.
It's very metal. It feels good. You feel secure. Like I don't I don't know. It hasn't changed for 175 years. Like look at the one behind you. That's from fucking like 1978.
Oh wow.
Like it's a TT. That's the cheap one. You know, it just hasn't changed in a bajillion years. So
yeah, it took people, product designers listening because I feel like they were like getting rid of that at one point or another, and
they were, yeah.
There was enough product designers listening to the consumer and saying there's a market for this, and then
people want it.
People want it.
Yeah, and now
and
there's
reactor. What about that? Should that come back?
I want one. If you got one sitting in a basement somewhere,
I do actually.
I will.
I have some amazing. I probably should have brought a ski bag back for you to present you with some.
Some wall art. Yeah, machetes. That's the best thing we got on the wall right now. But it's it is what it is. Well, we're adding stuff gradually. I got the upsets the other day. I got some other weird fucking balance. Need some spatulas. So if anybody's got spatulas out there, take those. But
I feel like Andrew Whiteford from Long Meadow, Massachusetts has a pair that he still skis on. Lives in Jackson Hole. Shout out Andrew Whiteford. A-dub.
I'll have to hit him up.
Best Jackson Hole skier there is.
No shit.
Non-ego.
Big claim.
Every jump, bump, and everything. He was the first person when I started as like team manager, age 22. We're like, we need a free ride guy because we had no.
And he was the guy.
Will and Annie. I'm like, I got just the guy. I went to college with him. He was the president of the ski club at UVM. Went to Jackson. Just the most solid individual, Andrew Whiteford.
Andrew Whiteford.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out that dude.
He did some run a few years ago. It was like off Cody Peak to like Whisker Dude to No Name to like Close Out or whatever, and it was like the whole town was a buzz. I have no idea.
I don't either. Jackson is a thing I haven't immersed myself in yet, nor do I plan on anytime soon. It seems toxic over there. Got enough toxicity in my life.
Go glazed over when someone starts talking about something like that.
Yeah, I'm like
not sure.
I don't know
what's going on.
What are you talking about? Yeah, I don't know.
A lot more skiers rolling into Seattle these days too.
For sure,
from
it's
other places. It's
a thing.
The secret's getting out, and it's like, oh boy,
secret's out, man. Secret's out in a lot of these places. A lot of people moving home too. A lot of people moving back to New England.
Oh, good.
It's like it's starting to happen. Kind of. The skiing sucks ass most of the time, but when it's good, it's excellent.
It seems great. My friend from Montana, he was visiting his in-laws in upstate New York, and he's like, dude, I just had like a legit powder day at Gore.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Like 2 or 3 days ago. It's like,
or Whiteface, all that shit. Yeah. They're on it right now.
That's Vermonters. We don't really go. Well, I'm not a Vermonter, but
close enough.
Hard to get to.
Sort of. Vermonter as a Connecticut person. Yeah. Seems not right, but that's okay.
Yeah. That's where you are right now, I guess you'd say.
That's a good point. Josh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Great.
Where can people find you on the internet? Where can people find Season? Where can people find the whole bit?
Show notes, pretty much. Show notes.
You're banking on Charlie hard right now.
Yeah. At Malczyk. Good luck spelling that.
Malczyk.
My Instagram. I'll give you an acceptance follow, and then.
Are you private?
Yeah. Usually stay the private course. LinkedIn, if you'd like.
And we accept everybody still.
Yeah, if it's not a.
So what's the point being
or something private? Like that? I don't know. I just like to keep a
tight, not tight circle.
Yeah, it's nice to know.
Okay.
Nice to know people and have conversations, but
yeah. How many friends can I have and not let everybody in?
Well, then you could like do the close friends thing and whatever. And
you could do that on regular.
I don't post this.
Okay, anyway, whatever. It's okay.
I don't like making reels, but seasoneqpt.com is the website, and say hi. There's a live chat there. Todd, our customer service guy, or Bennett, or
I was wondering who it was.
Possibly myself sometimes. If it's time, I keep that open in the side there. It's nice to talk to customers sometimes.
Yeah.
And reach out. It's cool. It's really cool to like see the community growing there and people kind of coming out of the woodwork who really like our brand and what we stand for, and just seeing more and more people and getting feedback one way or the other, and getting those little wins. It's what keeps people going, is like, I really love your stuff, because it's like, we're grinding, and it's like those little comments really make it good. And I usually take a screenshot and send it to our Slack group or whatever, a little motivation.
Love that
for everybody, because you get in your little tunnel vision, and you're like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
And, it's tough. So reach out. It's great.
That's how you know you're a real company. In 22, you have a Slack channel.
Oh yeah, big time.
Real business.
I gotta reach back out to, if this guy ever listens to the podcast. He emailed and he's like, hey, I go to UVM and I do you need any help for something? And I was like, oh my God. I replied back. I'm like, 15 years ago, I did the same thing. Jay Leventhal, changed the course of my career. So I'd be doing a disservice not to get back to you. And I haven't got back to the guy. But I will.
Jesus Christ.
I will. It's going to happen. So hopefully we'll have a little army of interns and start some people's careers and go from there. Sell some black skis and boards on the internet.
Love that. Everybody go.
And at Evo stores.
Go buy some black skis on the internet or apparently at Evo stores.
Yes.
Sick.
And more places. Thank you.